Nigeria has advocated a concerted response to xenophobia in South Africa. It has asked the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to take the issue from the regional bloc to the continental bloc, that's the African Union. Nigeria and Ghana, two leading members of ECOWAS, among the country was hit by attacks on fellow Africans by mobs in South Africa, while the Cyril Ramaphosa's government is alleged to have done nothing to stop it. Nigeria, like other African countries whose citizens living in South Africa came under attack, had citizens killed, maimed, or deprived of their means of livelihood through the looting of their shops and subsequently evacuated them from the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu told the 69th Ordinary Section of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Sierra Leone that xenophobia sends and stands condemned. The Vice President said, speaking on behalf of the President, said, as already mentioned by His Excellency, the President of Ghana, ECOWAS should present this matter before the next meeting of authority of the African Union to send a clear message that this type of behavior is unacceptable. South Africa should be reminded that the freedom the country currently enjoys is due to the liberation efforts of African countries such as Nigeria and others. The Nigerian government has evacuated over 1,490 of its citizens in 7 batches and is prepared to engage on this matter, the President said in a response delivered by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, this position further extends the hints given by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Biaka Ojukwu, that Nigeria would take retaliatory measures against South Africa. But the big question is, what form will this retaliatory action be, and will taking the issue to the AU bring about change in the actions of South Africa against other Nigerians and other African citizens? Well, a look at these and more will take center stage on the show today. And that is xenophobia, federal government to take action against South Africa. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on the show. We're looking at the recent call by the federal government to take action against that very attacks that have maimed, killed, and destroyed the livelihood of many Nigerians and also other African nationals. Well, anyway, we're not there in South Africa, so don't be scared. We're right here, safe and sound, in the international studios of Atlantic TV and media, and hence we'll be looking at it critically with no fear of being attacked. But anyway, he's right here to join us, look at it, and we're talking of no other person but human activist, and you do know he's a senior special assistant to His Excellency Governor Sheriff Oboriwori on human rights issues, and we're talking about Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu. Nice to have you on the platform. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you, Mr. Ray, and good morning, viewers.
Well, anyway, the last time we spoke about this, funny enough, you are our guest on the show, yes, and we talked extensively on the need for South Africans to be wary of their actions. But it looks as if our appeal and warning fell on deaf ears because as we stand, we learned that almost 5 Nigerians were killed, their stores were looted. We had series of attacks, not just on Nigerians, but other African nationals that are applying their trade in South Africa legitimately. Now, my first question is, will taking this to AU mean anything? Number one. And should South Africa, because we've not heard strong words coming from the government of Cyril Ramaphosa, condemning the actions. Yeah, he came to condemn, but he has not sent a message to other African countries that have been hard hit by this for them to indeed show a sign of remorse on the actions of their citizens. So my question, taking it to AU, what do we stand to gain?
Thank you very much. First, I would like to condemn also in strong terms the xenophobic attacks on nationals in South African soil. It's barbaric, and it doesn't depict the true quality of Pan-Africanism and the oneness that was told by the great African leaders, the likes of Madiba, the likes of Sankara, and the host of others, whom at the front line moved from African unity and African liberation. Having said that, it's also imperative for us to highlight here this morning that the African Union has lost its vibes. The African Union, as ought to be proud before now, has lost its efficacy. And I bet you heaven bear me witness, and nothing good will come out of this sanction they are boasting about. You see, people at this stage in time in our lives, every country knows what they are doing.
Okay.
The world is a global trade. Everybody comes in with their currency. They want to ensure that they undo the next person and subdue the next person.
Okay.
We're talking about the once giant of Africa, the once dreaded Nigerian military, whom were sent in different frontline mission, peacekeeping mission, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, and we brought normalcy. But today, what has happened? The house has fallen, and the goat now live on the rooftop. That's where we find ourselves now. Because I can't expect that South Africa will have the effrontery to murder 5 Nigerians. That's even the ones we could account for.
Yes.
There are some that also were killed in that South African soil that were unable to get their data. And when the president of a country is in support of what the people are doing in this country, then I think not even you have to take him to the International Court of Justice. For every life that was killed, President Ramaphosa will face that's a genocide. People who are doing legitimate business in your country, boosting your GDP, ensuring that your economy is growing fast, they were murdered and up to date. No arrest has been made over in South Africa. Rather, they keep getting momentum. It started by a tweet.
Yeah.
From a tweet, they started gaining grounds. And they started moving from one city to another city that other African nationals must leave South Africa. In their slogan, they are taking our work, they are taking our women. What work and what women are they taking? These are put out. Look at the other guy that was murdered, the Nigerian guy that was murdered in front of his jewelry shop. That was one of the biggest jewelry shop.
Yeah.
He was murdered, the shop was looted. And to date, no arrest has been made.
In Pretoria.
In Pretoria. Because they felt that, the Nigerian government is weak. You can't dare an American citizen and go scot-free.
Okay, now we'll come to the actions Nigerians you feel that Nigerian government should take on account of this. Just like what you said, the AU seem to have little bites as it concerns.
Toothless bulldog for now.
Well, anyway, it's a strong word and a strong sentence you've just made. But it's only right we look at how far Nigeria has come, especially as it concerns helping South Africa. Now, in case you don't know, you'll be getting a first-hand information right here on Dialogue. Nigerians spent a total of 61 billion United States dollars between 1960 and 1995 to help liberate South Africa from apartheid. And Nigeria did not only do that, but we accommodated a whole lot of them as it concerns free scholarship for them to study in the country, and indeed free medical care for those that were affected by the senseless attacks of white on black South Africans during the year 1960 to 1995. Now, it is only important and imperative that those South African brothers and indeed show their sign of gratitude. Now, that will come to my next question, because it's only right we look at where we are coming from to know where we'll be heading to, because you only recover when you discover.
Absolutely.
Now, let's look at South Africa in itself and look at the mirage or myriad of a whole lot of issues that seem to bedevil them. Yes, many will say it's a lack of job opportunities that push them into doing this. Irrespective, do you feel the present generation in every way understands what other African countries, especially Nigeria, spending that huge sum way back 1960 to 1995? 61 billion United States dollars is a lot. It will be accounting to almost 600 and something billion United States dollars of today. Now, do you feel this young generation truly understands the effort being made by other African countries to end apartheid in their country when they were under serious white rule, and hence their actions are reflecting negatively?
They understand.
You feel they do?
Yeah, they do. They read, they understand. But when your host country president is aiding and abetting criminality,
do you feel Cyril Ramaphosa is aiding? Because he came out to condemn most of the actions being perpetrated by these set of persons.
He condemns, but in most of the videos you see going viral, you see police officers even accompanying these persons in xenophobia attack to attack other nationals. What does that tell you? He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in his own country as well. He controls the means and wherewithal of his country. So if he come and say in black and white that he condemned the act, what are the actions he has put in place? Okay, in this area where we have xenophobia attack, there's going to be 24 hours curfew, just to done. To curtail the access of those persons, deploy more security personnel in those areas where we have other nationals doing businesses. They will know that you are not aiding and abetting your people to go and kill other African nationalities that have come to work in your country. They didn't come to your country illegally. They were doing legitimate business. They're also helping to boost the economy of South Africa. So they know that Nigerians played a big brother role during the apartheid regime.
Okay.
Then even at 7 p.m., you dare not see a black South African on the streets of Johannesburg. But today, with the help of even Mandela was kept in exile in Nigerian soil at that time. So it shows how disconnected we are as Africans, how pain we have to even see our own skin color and appreciate our skin color. It's what we say, well, there's neocolonialism and capitalism. Why the ones we are doing this, there's something as different from what they are doing now as slave trade era. Because you killing your fellow black man because he is doing well in your country, it speaks a lot of barbaric nation in you.
Okay, now let's look at the very reasons why these attacks were meant not just to only Nigerians, but to also other African nationals in South Africa. And one of the critical reasons they said is the issue of these African nationals taking job from them. Now,
and their women.
And their women. Well, anyway, the women, I doubt we even have time with our women here. Talk less of going to South Africa. Let's leave their women for now, please, because they're a handful. Now, let's look at the unemployment rate in South Africa at that moment. In 2025, first quarter, it was 32.9% in the first quarter and peaked to about should be 33.2% in South Africa, if I can recall.
Okay.
And looking at it in all, this is the reason they said that there was a need for those nationals to leave South Africa. So at least those in South Africa, and so South Africans themselves can be fully employed. So let's look at the issue of unemployment. Do you feel the anger channel to other nationals is indeed right, or should the government of South Africa not be the one to be held accountable for the lack of job in South Africa? So do you feel the anger is being channeled to the right place, or do you feel the South Africans are just being unnecessary mischievous in their approach to other African nationals on account of unemployment?
They are exhibiting a high level of deviancy in their approach, and I must say it's a wrong movement.
Okay.
Because they call it a movement that leaves South Africans only South Africans to occupy South African jobs. Now you are failing to hold your president, hold him accountable. Why the lack of job in your country? If the president can open up other areas, just like you coming to say, okay, Nigerians, now we're not blaming other persons in our country for having jobs. Yeah. Well, we know if we tell President Tinubu, okay, expand the Warri Port for us, for example, we will create more jobs. If we have Port Harcourt port working fully, we'll have more jobs, Cocoa Port and all of that work. We'll even supplement the port to supplement. This will also open the economic habitat of our region. Okay. So rather than us calling our president to do this, we're not going to say we want a Fulani to leave our soil. We have Fulanis that does good legitimate business in this town. They come bringing their cattle, they rent, they pay their rent, they pay their taxes. So these Nigerians and other nationals living in South Africa, they pay their taxes to South African government. So you channeling the movement towards them to say they must leave your country because they're taking your jobs. No, okay, now that they've gone, what are GDP today? We've taken our persons there, other countries have taken our persons there. What do they have? Have they got jobs now? The answer is no. Because they fail to sit together as a people to negotiate with their government and say, Mr. Ramaphosa, what is happening to our economy? You see what's happening in the UK. When you are ineffective, you resign, and somebody else take over the mantle of leadership. They never come and say because other blacks are United Kingdom, that's why they're not having jobs. No, that's a civilized clan.
Okay, now do you feel the wealth in South Africa is poorly spread along? Because according to our findings on Dialogue, we always do findings before we come on any show. about 86% of the Commonwealth of South Africa, funny enough, is still in the hands of the white South Africans. Even since they got the change of narrative happened in 1994 when late Nelson Mandela took reign of affairs in South Africa and ended apartheid itself. But up to now, almost 86% of the wealth is still in white South Africans' hands. Only 10% is poorly distributed among the black South Africans. Now, because whether we like it or not, this problem will still be raging on account of lack of distribution of wealth. Now, do you feel the South Africa government is doing little or less in helping to spread the wealth among? Because if you look at what happened in Zimbabwe when Robert Mugabe was there and seized white farms and gave them to the blacks, Zimbabweans, so the country indeed went into a turmoil in dealing with the issue of poverty. Now, do you feel a lack of wealth distribution has also impacted, and this South Africa government needs to do more to deal with that issue of spreading the wealth among all South Africans to end this rubbish?
Okay, during the apartheid regime, the white infiltrated, they look for the grey areas in South Africa, and they were domiciled in those areas. They put in a lot of resources in those areas to ensure they will have a bumper harvest. Like the area where you have where you plant their apples and berries and all this fruit they export to other countries. They are mainly those areas that are domiciled by white South Africans. Now, I do not want to stereotype my argument to racial differences. Rather, I want to look at in-depth analysis. What is the white South Africans doing rightly that the black South Africans cannot do rightly? Do they have financial literacy? Are they prudent in terms of financial management? Do they indulge highly in crime and criminality? Do they invest more of their resources on drugs? Those are areas we will not look at. Because if you give me $1,000 today and you give $1,000 today, what roles are investment in the next 10 years is our mindset and available information that we have. If you don't have information, I can say, okay, the next day I'm in a club, popping bottles of champagne. While you are in a factory, building machines and looking for what you can import and export out of the country. So let's say, for example, the next 2 years, they said, okay, let's come out with a scorecard. And I come and say, well, I spent my money.
So are you indicting black South Africans of not doing enough to get out of poverty? Is that the narration? And you feel they are lazy in itself, hence those jobs were being taken by other black Africans and others?
In some angle, I want to say they've been lazing around. But the second angle, I want to say there's what we call new apartheid regime also taking place in South Africa. You know, the bourgeoisies in South Africa, which are domiciled more of the whites, they hold on to a piece of production. And what they do, they separate it among their elites to ensure they put the blacks under check and under the submission. So rather, what they do is for them to sit together as black community and say, okay, what do we do? What are these people doing right that we cannot do right? Is it in terms of trade? Okay, is it instead of tech? Let's invest in human capital development of ourselves. Then let the president also expand the horizon, the economic horizon of their country. Not blame you can't, when you begin to blame, like some people tell you that my friend make me poor. That's the narrative in South Africa they're pushing on. That because of these blacks nationalities in their country, that's why they're not getting enough jobs. No. Now, from the decision you just gave, the bulk of the wealth lies between the white South Africa.
So do you feel the whites are just doing so much to continue that way? Because it's good we state it here. For those that might be watching us that do not understand, the richest man in the world is a South African. And his name is Elon Musk. He's the richest man in the world and he's a South African, not an American. So we should always remember that. So that brings me to my question. Do you feel the white South Africans are just in every way advancing and hence moving ahead without looking at spreading the wealth collectively among other nationals in the country?
You know, they already have the foundation laid for them by their white predecessors during the apartheid regime. They amassed a lot of wealth, and they already map out the gray areas where they know, okay, these are the areas that lay the golden egg, and they have owned those areas and control the means of production in those areas. Now, having said that, I would say to some extent, the white they already have a background foundation of finances. Then also they're also running with the prudent narrative to exploit. You agree with that? Elon Musk will make his money from South Africa. he made his money in tech and other investment that he put cut across.
He started everything in South Africa.
Yes, he did. But his market share today, I gives him the book, is South Africa.
Yes, SpaceX.
Yes. So in all this narrative, you now see that the black we need to reorientate ourselves. What are these persons doing? You see, like the Igbo wonders. After the Civil War, the Igbos they came back. Their market were taken over by other persons. What do? They come back to the market and they start what we call a journeyman. Journeyman in local parlance means you own the shop. I will stand by. If someone I go and look at a market, someone wants to buy phone, for example, I say, okay, my career sells it. We'll come to Atlantic TV and they sell it here. What do I do? I get my commission. My career, okay, you sell it for 10,000, okay, put 200 naira for me. So you give me, the person I brought you also give me, I have 400 naira. After people, they brought back to the market and I took over the market from other persons.
So you feel the South Africans, the black ones, are not thinking towards this level?
They are not thinking over the rather they just come to do challenge with Nigeria. And you know Nigerians, the average Nigerian, our lifestyle, it's as if we're being bogus.
Hyped.
Yes.
Well,
you can't win us on the internet.
Okay.
And every Nigerian does not point to it, but they will have data to reply you in anything you want to do.
Okay, let's not go to the tweet war. I rather stay with the war that seems, or rather the problem that seems to be manifesting as it concerns the xenophobic attack. Now, we'll come to actions being taken by this administration to deal with it. But let's say remain on the continental or regional bloc. Now, in your own assessment, like I said in my introduction, a whole lot of countries were duly affected by the attacks. Nigeria and Ghana still leading the charge of countries that were worse hit.
More casualties.
Yes, and more casualties, and even worse hit as it concerns some of their properties being looted because of their expansion and how they have put a strong foot on the ground in South Africa when it comes to business. Sierra Leone, we know, is also well affected by those attacks by the black South Africans. But let's look at it now. Do you feel a proper dialogue, negotiation, reaching out of regional body like ECOWAS and the AU, which is more of a continental body, can help bring South Africa back on the table, can help them understand that, well, this is more like African losing at all fronts? So do you feel negotiations, dialogue would be a winning tool as it concerns bringing this problem to an end?
You know, in conflict resolution, according to Comr, there's some point you get to, you negotiate. But there's some point you get to, you give conflict for conflict. Because Comr said after the conflict comes a resolution.
Okay.
So at that time, you give back hit for hit. Then everybody fall back to the negotiation table. At that time, I would not be able to listen to you. But now I'm counting my casualty. You've never counted any casualty. So you come to the table, you come with a full-fledged pomposity. Until they need a sanction. We don't need to negotiate with them.
Okay.
You've killed the Nigerian citizens.
Okay.
That came to your soil to invest. You looted their jobs. And now they brought down to square zero. So who's going to bear the card? Somebody somewhere must bear the card.
So do you feel these sanctions should be regional or continental in approach?
It should be regional.
Okay.
For example, like the first sanction they will drop all trade connections with South Africa. If you want to be hostile to us, they don't do business with you anymore. When you withdraw trade terms and others from them, then you dislodge their economic strength. And no country all over the world, even the United States, can survive in isolation.
Yeah.
You need collaborators to survive, for your economy to move. If you say, okay, for example, all wines coming from South Africa to Nigeria today, we don't want any wine imported from South Africa to Nigeria. They will lose a lot of market. All fruit and veg come from there, we do not want.
Apples, Mr.
Yes, we're around and buy from there. We look for an African country close by to go and do business with. And they know what they are losing from there. If Ghana withdraws from them, Mozambique withdraw, Sierra Leone withdraw, Nigeria withdraws from there, they'll feel it. And when the government feel it, they'll come begging. And you now give them a stronger terms and that if any of us is touched going further, then they did the penalty. Then the president will not be the president will not put his tent on his country to monitor and secure citizens. That's the only way. Rather say, because at the end of the day, Mali, Burkina Faso, and all of that was sanctioned by the EU. What came out? Nothing came out. They told they don't want part of ECOWAS, and they left until today no sanction. So same way we the Nigerian government taking it before the African Union. I don't see anything coming out from that point. Rather, we give them aura for aura and everybody sit at the dialogue table.
Okay, now let's. You've just talked about regional and also continental approach towards ending this issue of xenophobic attacks on Africans, and let's now come home because home is where it hits the most.
Yes.
And let's look at what the Senate has said. The Senate, in all measure, has come out to strongly condemn the killings of Nigerians and looting and maiming of Nigerians in South Africa. They came out through the spokesperson of the Senate to strongly condemn it, and all that condemnation came as early as June, the second week of June, and just recently in July also, on the 23rd to be precise, sorry, on the 13th to be precise. A strong condemnation came from the red chambers on account of those attacks, especially when we had more than 1,400 Nigerians being evacuated from South Africa down to the country. Now, the Senate has come out to condemn. The Vice President, in no little words, expressed Nigerian sadness on account of the actions being meted to Nigerians by South Africans during the last 69th meeting of ECOWAS nation, which is indeed reflecting the mind of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as it concerns the attack. Now, do you feel the condemnation, the show of unhappiness is enough coming from this government, or you feel we've shown little or no strong measures as it concerns these killings of Nigerians by South Africans?
You know, I would like to.
I'm talking about the Nigerian government.
Yeah, before I answer your question, I would like to narrow it. You know, if your friend beat up your father in your presence, and you go there and say, "Daddy, it's okay, let's go home," if someone will call cowardice.
Yes, most certainly.
And that friend will know that even he can beat your father again and nothing will happen. That is likened to the Nigerian narrative with the xenophobic attack by South Africans. Now you come to say you condemn it. So I say, okay, let's go. They beat you, sorry, let's go home. What have you done? I beg to differ and take the line of my senior comrade, Adam Somole, a senator, who said all South African businesses in Nigeria should be shut down. It's only on that basis that these people will listen to our language. Not coming to call you, okay, you condemn the act, now you go back to your chamber and you say the eyes have it, those will say I, those will say no. Whereas the issue, Nigerians are still being, there are some people trapped in South Africa to death. The ones you are bringing back, what are the plans for them? The ones that were evacuated now, do we have jobs for them?
Of course not.
Not. I saw the other pastor was saying he has a free estate for them that is to stay. For them, how long will they stay there? Family men, with the children, with kids, with wife. So it's not enough to condemn the barbaric act. It's more good for us to go after them. There are businesses, we have businesses of South Africans in Nigeria. Shut it down for a while. Let them feel it. In the battlefield, everyone can their losses. You cannot kill my citizenry, and you are saying, I just go, you could come and condemn, you condemn, and there's no action on ground. Because until people begin to pay for their actions, even countries pay for their actions, nothing will go further.
But on the 7th of this month, the Senate came out to say, well, those actions will not be taken because that's those actions being proposed by the senator representing Edo North in the red chambers, Adams Oshomole, is too extreme. That's the very word, because they unanimously came out to say, yeah, they condemn it, but those actions being issued or being put on the table by no other person but Senator Adams Oshomole is too extreme. That taking over the businesses or shutting down the businesses will not only affect South Africa, but will affect those Nigerians that are being employed under these companies. So would it not, like you are trying to close the eye, but you are hitting the nosiness in regard of you wanting to shut the eyes?
It's not too extreme. Now, an average African understands only one language, which is coercion, because we were coerced into adopting the indirect rule policy from our colonial masters. Hence, you see that we also have a police force that has force attached to their names.
Well, anyway, yeah, that force is beginning to sound more like too much force. But
yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
And in all of this, you now see that the average black man believes only what in coercion. You see, if in a same clan, if you touch one citizen of another country, it's a line already for war.
but will shutting the businesses not affect us in the long run? You cannot shut the telecommunication company that boasts of South Africa presence is one of the leading telecommunication company in Nigeria. If you shut it down, will millions of Nigerians not be affected overall?
My career, when it comes to battle, everybody go and count their losses. it will affect Nigerians, agreed, but most of South Africans will feel it more because they need this for their survival. They have. I don't mention their businesses for purpose of doing advertorial for them.
Yeah, but we don't want to advertise.
Yes, we don't want to advertise for them, but we have a whole lot of them.
They need to bring money.
I have like 10 or 15 I can mention that if we shut them, that they will feel it because they need a return back to their economy. So when this flow is not going there, they will not know that why this downfall in our GDP in the month of July? It's because of the xenophobic attack of Nigerians. They are pull out their investment. Oh, what do we do? I think we have to make sure this doesn't happen again. Because this is not the first time the xenophobic attack is happening.
Yes,
and because that has been done, they keep doing it. Yeah. And you can't give what you don't have, my career.
Yeah.
Our government and citizens are being murdered even in our own soil, and nothing is done. So the foreigners have seen us, they've seen us like, what they are too good, or what can they do? Bandits and extremists kill our Nigerians in a Nigerian soil. We don't go after them. So is it the one that foreigners will do across sea line, across border soil that we now want to respond to? The answer is no. So until we prioritize human life, I tell you, what is the value of a human life in Nigeria? Just 3 days ago, that some students were killed in Franklin College in Borno State. We just go there and sympathize with them, and that's the end of it. The principal was beheaded. What happened? Who was arrested? Who paid? You see, when people commit crime and there's no repercussion for it, they will continue. They will be in the increase.
Okay.
I bet you, if we give South Africa a stiffer sanction going forward, they will never dare to attack on Nigeria or any national of any other country. So that person did. He said, Professor, you can't visit that country.
Yes. So that brings me to my next.
What I come to my country to do when you're killing my people?
So should we also break all diplomatic engagement with South Africa, just like Ghana has done? Do you feel that will also be a strong way of sending our message of how unhappy we are with the treatment being meted down to Nigerians?
It will, because I would want to advise people to take arms or seek self-help. No, that's not part of it. But what we'll do, we have a government, we have an institution. Cut ties with these people. Let us negotiate. That going forward, if one Nigerian is tampered in your soil unjustly, then this is the benchmark. Then we'll reach a communique that will be signed. A treaty must be signed to say, okay, you want a bilateral relationship? Fine, we are open for it. But these are terms and conditions. That on no account, if you have a Nigerian that committed a crime, you can arrest and prosecute him. Fine. Don't go and take a life that you cannot create. You see, that one, they flogged him to death. You know what it means? Imagine the family seeing their child being beaten up like that and you killed him. Just not that he committed a crime because you said he's taking your work and taking your women. Who does that? In 21st century, where we have the United Nations Charter of fundamental human rights, that you can live any part of the world, you can do anything you want to do any part of the world, and your human beings must be respected at all times. Then we have African leaders who are docile. Some don't even want to speak about the issue because they are looking for friendship. In the heat of this xenophobic attack, some African leaders have been docile in it. But when it comes to begging for aid, you see them, you have to beg for aid from foreign counterparts. When you want to beg for aid, for medical aid, you want to beg for any kind of aid, you see them very, very proactive.
Okay, now, in case you're joining us, it's indeed a major one we're having to discuss today on Dialogue. We're looking at the call by many for the federal government to do more, especially as it concerns xenophobic attacks, or rather the attacks being meted down to Nigerians. And the recent call for more action to be taken, especially looking at what played out during the weekend at the 69th meeting of the ECOWAS nation, where Nigeria and indeed Ghana told the bloc to send the matter down to the African Union to indeed address the issue of attacks coming from South Africa to other African nationals. Well, anyway, many are already indicating that the federal government should do more as it concerns not just words, or rather push for regional or continental bloc to do more, but rather this country should do more as it concerns the attack. And there is this even growing call coming from no other but the senator representing Edo North in the Red Chamber, saying that all businesses being owned by South African companies should be shut down immediately. And indeed, more are calling for more stringent measures to be taken against the South Africans. But what should that measures be, and what should the call look like? That is all we're having as a major discourse today on the show. I will say I have no other person but Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu. You do know he's a senior special assistant to His Excellency Governor Sheriff Oboriwori on human rights issues, showing or venting out his anger on account of the human rights of these Nigerians being in every way trampled on and being in every way dragged down in a dehuman way. But anyway, in our traditional way, we always enjoy talking about it. We do not throw blows here. Neither do we indeed encourage any conflict. But the conflict should be looked at, and indeed issues be discussed. That's why we enjoy dialogue. But anyway, talking about discussing the issues. Now, we do know that the federal government has evacuated 1,490 Nigerians from South Africa from 7 batches. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, recently gave us a hint of our federal government taking action account of what has happened to these persons. But whether we like it or not, if the land was green, nobody will leave the green pastures of this land and go to South Africa to get other greener pastures. So let's look at the issue of rehabilitating these Nigerians that have come home, lost all they have overseas in South Africa rather, and coming to be. Do you feel even what the federal government is doing? Yeah, many has come in every way, congratulated them and commended them for evacuating these Nigerians free of charge. But is it enough to get these persons back on their feet? What do you feel this government needs to do?
You know, it's not enough to evacuate them from South Africa and bring them back to Nigeria, leaving them docile. They rather fall back into criminality and crime, because an idle mind, they say, is the devil's workshop.
Yes.
And a man who can't take care of himself and his family is more than an infidel.
Yeah.
So rather, some of them don't want to be an infidel, to look for other means of livelihood. And some might be legal, while some might be illegal. Even while we condemn the illegal means of getting livelihood. Now, even we here in the Nigerian soil, we've not even seen the greener pasture to feast on. So I wonder the ones being brought from South Africa, where they are going to see.
Even if they can see hay, the brown hay, the grey hay,
yes,
it's something to
because we've not even seen a fertile soil to even till.
Okay.
So that will tell you also how our governance also and provision also have been fall short. Now we have the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. You bring these persons now also, get a housing for them, let them be there. Let's say you say, okay, give them a 3 years free stay. Then look for the ones that have crafts, or the ones that what can they do? You put them into some of these ministries and agencies, so they can fend, because some of them have wealth of knowledge that they won't give also to the Nigerian government that help us to blossom. Yeah. So we'll tap in some of these areas and see how we can integrate them back into society, because first of all, go post-traumatic crisis. The fright of seeing your brother being murdered in South Africa and all of that, and you live in your house, not carrying your documents. All of them will not have documents to tender. But what we're going to do, the government must not look the other way around. From the looted treasury that was received from Malami and also Emefiele, the government can say, okay, these secondary properties, we can put this person to live in these properties for the next 5 years or 3 years, while they look for a means of livelihood to get themselves back in order. Rather than looting those same looted properties again by same government officials to re-loot them, and at the end of the day will not have anything to show for it. The ones collected from former general, who can say, okay, the ones in Ikoyi or the ones in Abuja, will give them to stay. Put them in some of those estates, or even a Mayfield estate, you can put them there to stay for the time being. Why they are being catered for, integrate their children back into free scholarship or free education, then the adult ones look for means of livelihood. Because the truth is, it's not easy to start all over. I remember 1999, when my house got burned down, it took us a whole lot of time to start buying properties again. So I wonder how these people will feel now. You even living, if coming back to Nigeria, you don't even know where to start from. You don't know what's moving anymore in Nigeria. You don't even have a religion you want to go and meet and say, okay, you don't have a capital to even kickstart. So they have to give them smooth, soft loans. Okay, you take, what can you do? A startup. That's the only way we can get it, because I don't see anything, because we that is in Nigeria, how many people even have jobs? We have the small and middle scale business, they even want driving the economy. The government jobs, we don't even see them. Like my friend was saying that, how come we don't see advert for NMPC, the MASA, and all that federal government agencies? The only one they tell us come and join for free of charge is to join the Nigerian army, to join the Nigerian police. They encourage us to come and join, that we should take to give us free vehicles. When the opening comes for NMPC and top oil companies, don't they do advertorial? Our children are doing for me to go and work there. So the narrative must change, home and abroad, for us to be taken seriously. And I would say the way our government treats us in Nigeria, that's how we have been treated elsewhere all over the world. Until we make, I remember some time ago, if they see you as a Nigerian in diaspora, people rally around you, they want to hear you talk. They want to hear you just tell them, they enjoy everything about us. We are great people, we are genuine people. We are hustlers. We want to work, we want to make ends meet. We are not lazy people. Even at home and abroad, you see young, go to road every day, see young Nigerians, working even above their age, just to make ends meet. So the government of the day also, they must also learn what has happened in South Africa. Because a time will come, the bushmeat will hunt the hunter for survival. But I pray that not happen that time.
Well, anyway, before we become running away, or we run away on account of being hunted, on the account of not doing enough, it is only right we say that indeed, that's why we're having this discussion or dialogue. We're trying to x-ray on what this very administration needs to do, rather than a series of condemnation on account of the xenophobic attack that's been meted on Nigeria and other black nationals. And but irrespective of that, I want to still come back to you. Now, Nigeria will be regarded as the giant of Africa.
Then we will.
Please, the throne has not been taken yet.
No. We no longer the giant of Africa.
Okay. Nigeria will be regarded as a big brother of Africa, and hence, not just only on our population, but in our giving and our willingness of accommodating others. That is what we've been known for. And we always have that brotherly love for other Africans. We see them as our own genuine brothers. And so let's look at what other approach. Yes, you said, yes, we should take it fire for fire. We should indeed be more stringent in our effort. But how can we bring back that Pan-Africanism that used to be the order of the days in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, when every African was looked upon as Africans? If you agree with me, Europe is becoming more reintegrated and integrated by the day. The European Union will be regarded as one of the strongest unions. We've seen the bloc of France, Germany, undermining the UK has left that very bloc. It's still waxing strong and having more nations willing and wanting to be a part of that bloc. But how can we bring back that narrative of Pan-Africanism that has seemed to have left the shores of this continent? Hence the reason we're having this xenophobic attack. How can we, being the leaders, the big brother, the giant of Africa, bring back that narrative so at least that strong Pan-Africanism will still reflect on this continent and being championed by the biggest black or populous black nation on the planet, which is Nigeria?
When you have corrupt leaders and selfish leaders, they breed what? They breed their kinds. We have got federalism and new breedism as a context in the socio-political world. Now, Museveni, you've been there for almost 60 years as the president. You don't want to leave.
Of Uganda.
You have Cameroon president also.
Pobia.
You don't want to leave. And you see, we're not taken seriously. We are not taken seriously until we have leaders that are sincere, that have empathy, and they are not corrupt. We can't run the Pan-Africanism. You saw Mandela. Even all that he went through, he did his tenure and he left. If Mandela were to be from Nigeria, he will tell you that for 25 years I was in prison, I'll do 25 years before I will hand over power. And they'll still rally for him to say, yes, it's true, he has really suffered. Let him be there. But the man said no. Even forgave those that even took him to prison. And he said, let us come together, let's reason together and build a formidable South Africa. Sometimes I begin to weep if this is South Africa he paid for. Thomas Sankara, even Mama Gaddafi, this one, the Africa they all envisage. The one that Africa will have a united currency that we use as a united African state. But today, you see African leaders so in love with greed, oppression, and corruption. You see them, they loot without any level of emotions. They want to remain in power with all might, just to do what? To loot and subdue their populace. And when that is done, you can't build a society that will not take center stage. No. Nobody will applaud you for that. You want to remain in power and you're out of ideas. You're out of strength. You're out of vigor.
So are you saying the Pan-Africanism is gone and gone forever?
It's gone. Because the terms of Obasanjo when it was the ECOWAS, you can't dare. The ECOWAS, you were seeing the military strength of ECOWAS at that time. You see their military strength, their military might. People go for training and retraining. You go peacekeeping mission. Monrovia, Liberia. You see the ECOMOG at that time. Very strong force. Now we have ECOWAS, we have AU. Nothing to, just 3 countries threatening to be out of ECOWAS and nothing happened. Burkina Faso, Mali, and the rest of that.
And Niger.
And Niger, we don't be part of you, and nothing, no sanction. Then you want a United Africa, where some are being segregated out of it, where you are treating your fellow brother the way you are treating them like this. They want a United Africa. No way. Until we pull ourselves from corrupt leaders, African leaders, who are so much in love with power and oppression and intimidation and lacks empathy for the people, we cannot have a egalitarian African society where the life of everyone matters. This is an attack should be a call for United Africa to come together and say, we are breaking out South Africa, you are not part of us. Be in isolation. And when you show remorse, come back, we'll give you terms and conditions. But today, some of them are even going about doing businesses. They don't care. So that doesn't affect their populace, they don't care. They should go and trust a Burkina Faso citizen in South Africa now. I dare them to trust a Burkina Faso citizen in South Africa. They should dare it. And see.
Okay, well, anyways, we will not dare on that.
You don't negotiate your oppressors, you give oppressors what they understand. They understand coercion, you give it back to them. You don't negotiate your oppressors. Because what they want to remain on top and ensure that they subdue you at all levels. They've done this xenophobic attack before now. One more time, we were telling Nigerians. We came, we cut our loss, we condemn, and nothing happened. Now they've done again, now we condemn. What are you condemning? Without a reprisal, sanction on them. Let's cut out to them. Even if Nigeria survive, fine, it's going to be for a short time. But let them also feel it in the economy. So that they do not know that, oh, really, this person really doing us good. Just like doing something, they said Nigerians should leave, black immigrants should leave Americans. Now there are some of them are stranded because they don't know what that will do the main action for them. They're not calling to say, no, please, we need to come back. They don't know how to do the job that Nigerians and other black were doing there before now, Indians and all of that. We all need everybody. Even as green as America, there are still Americans in Nigeria looking for money here. Yes. As green as America is, there are some there, they left America, they are Nigerian doing businesses, funding back to their country. So what are we not saying?
But anyway, what we need to say is a big thank you to you, and I'm talking of no other person. Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu, you do know, he's a human rights activist.
Yes, I'm paying this morning.
Well, anyways,
my brother's being killed and my
sorry, we don't have cool water to quench that anger. But anyway, we know we always have a word of appreciation to show you our very deep appreciation on account of you coming here and doing this. Undermining, in all honesty, many Nigerians are pained on account of this unnecessary attack meant to Nigerians. But all the same, thank you so much. And talking of no other person but Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu, you do know he's a senior special assistant to Governor Sheriff Oboduwori on human rights issues, and indeed coming to add his voice. But we do know time is well spent. But before we let you go, there's something also that is out of our discussion here, but we need to get your view as it concerns it. Is the recent case being instituted about a content creator, and we do know him as Odogu Asaba. Is the Delta State government coming to being a part of this case, or is it strictly just a case between the family and the Asaba Odogu content creator?
Well, I think for now, we await the outcome of the investigation by the police.
Okay.
It's a sad one because the story seems to be complicated. Every day we see different online judges giving their judgment on the matter.
That's why we're asking if the Delta State government will come into it.
Giving their judgment, but we are waiting for the police to come out because from our findings now, the body will be exhumed. Autopsy will be carried out on the body, even while we knew that she took substances and all of that. But there's other areas we need to also verify from our own account. But the suspect, Ifeanyi Ogbonna, aka Odogwu of Asaba, he did not deny the act
of raping her.
Of raping her.
And we also learned that she was given a sexually transmitted disease. That's why she was asking for
that has not been verified medically. And that's an activist when we say anything, we'll say it with evidences. Do you know that? So we have three sides of the story. The late victim side, the side of Odogwu Asaba, and also the side of Nigerians interpreting what a virgin goes to do in a hotel with a man, and for that reason. But let me correct one thing. Rape is evil, and rape is a criminal offense in Nigeria.
Whether a virgin or not.
Even whether the girl goes into a hotel with you, does not give you the ample right to tamper with her sexually. No means no. Even in the act of sexual intercourse, and she said, stop. If you continue, it's rape. It's in the law. So when people begin to talk, I begin to marvel how we have lost our empathy and sense of reasoning. Even when she said, stop. And more so, we should understand this, the rape is not only when a man rapes a lady. Our young boys are being raped daily also by women. Our young boys are also being raped. So some women rape our young boys. Some men also that are into some frivolous behavior also rape our young boys. They've been molested sexually. So we must balance the status quo and call a spade a spade. Rape is a criminal offense in Nigeria and it is evil. I've sent a lot of people to prison in this issue of rape. So I'm going to also throw my voice in this matter. I will see the family in the course of this week.
But we also learned the family are seeking for financial support or aid, or especially as it concerns this issue. Is it right to seek for financial aid when investigations are still ongoing?
It was baffling when I saw that video of the mother and the father saying they spent 7 million naira. Even the person that have dialysis cannot spend 7 million naira within this short, ample time. If you say you do oxygen for her for the 2 weeks that she was alive, a day of is 50,000 naira, depends on the hospital you are using. So how come you spend 7 million naira and you people rush to go and even bury her? So they are making the issue more complicated. They will ask for funds. Don't ask for money. Let that young man face the consequence of his action. Because you're taking money now, you've not put what we call a deterrence. Tomorrow someone will say, I can rape any other virgin anyway, and I'll give the family 10 million naira, and the issue will die. But when you know that the man, like there's a boy called Ernest that raped an 11-year-old girl in Osubi. Today he was sentenced to the court in February. I handle the case. He's in the prison till now. When he comes out, it's going to be 53 or 53 years when he comes back from prison there. So that is a deterrent. So when people see that, the other person are also sent to jail. They are still there till death for raping minors or raping anybody. It's pain. I've seen an adult whom, if you want to touch her, even just to play with her, start crying and fidgeting. It was a trauma of rape. The victim go through a lot of trauma. People are saying, why would you go and kill her? Do you know the trauma she went through? Our mother also was also condemning her. Mothers, you must learn also, know the words to use for these children when they are broken. Castigate, drag back, and console. And help, seek help. Take her to a counselor. Take her to anybody that you know can talk to her. Not every day you lash them with words. They see your life now. You don't finish. You don't say you don't be virgin again. No man will value you. You are not finished. And life is going to live. Those words will bring. That's why the girl went ahead to take her own life. If she was encouraged, see, it has happened. Life goes on. Don't worry. Stay alive. It pains me that girl even kill herself. Because me, I would have spent my last penny to ensure she gets justice if she had even reached out to me in the first place. I don't charge money. We'll do it for you free. So why will you kill yourself for that? Because you're raped. When you see the rape suspect going to prison, it gives you joy that the person that did this to me is not there. Freedom is priceless. Nobody wants to prison. As I'm here, if you keep me in one place for one day, you've taken my freedom. So because I don't want to take my freedom, I don't want to go into anything crime and criminality. So the parents must learn. Being poor does not mean you lost your sense of reason to go and beg money, 7 million on the internet to do what? After the case you go on, now just to assist you, don't assist you. Because looking at them, you know that this family, they actually need help. They are not looking financially stable. They even help both the twin sister, the mother, the father, they're not looking healthy, just feeding. But don't come and start, you are crying for justice, you are crying for money. Because the boy was telling that in the station that, please, I'll give you anything. I'm ready to give you anything. Maybe that word has entered their ear now, they want to get 7 million. And if you collect money from suspect, you thwarted the case.
Okay, well, anyways, we might really be bringing you later to really help us look at this.
They can bring the hospital that they spend that money for, the hospital bill that they spend the money. I will call Nigerians to raise money, we'll pay the hospital, but not them calling for that money. We can't give them money. If they have a medical report where hospital is charging them that money, they should bring it. I will do a pro bono donation for them. I will do a GoFundMe for them. We'll send money to that hospital to pay that hospital bill. Not the family singing for 7 million. What do you have 7 million? Do you have 7 million like your daughter was making so much money on the internet?
Well, anyways, well, it looks as if I'm really touching the nerves of Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu this morning.
Oh, it's pain. When I see the way people talk, I posted the people were talking on the people saying the virgin, I can't virgin dress. The way a girl dresses doesn't define whether she's virgin or not the virgin. And a girl dresses doesn't give you the right to rape her. We must learn to show empathy. Even if a girl is showing nudity, it doesn't tell you to rape her. It's her life, she's an adult. If you dress it the way some people are saying, why she wears this kind of skirt or virgin wears this kind of skirt. So is there a cloth meant for virgin? Is there a particular cloth that says virgin should dress and they should wear buba or buluku?
Well, anyway, nobody will be putting on any buluku anytime soon.
And maybe that's what they want the virgin. Maybe whoever should be wearing buluku or they give an ID card. Or virgin should be carrying ID card as Comr to be walking about.
Well, anyway, that means we might really not get a lot of ID card to go around. But anyway, let's leave that. But thank you especially for being a part of this. We truly enjoy your time with us. We truly appreciate your time. We want to say a big thank you to you, Comrade Kelvin Ejumudu. Thank you so much for being here. Well, anyway, it's always interesting on dialogue, and we need to talk about the issues. But I always implore you that